Good evening, America. Yes, you are watching Halloween at the Trump White House. How about that? Welcome to the Thursday edition of Just the News, No Noise, No. Halloween's tomorrow night, but they're celebrating a little early at the White House. President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump are handing out candy to young children at the White House. Great backdrop. We're going to keep that on all throughout the show, even as we get to some amazing guests who are out there. We've got a lot of conversations, China, Arctic frost, the end of the Asia trip. We're going to get to all of that. But first, my co-host, Amanda Head, is over at the White House covering President Trump's Halloween. She's going to be there throughout tonight, so I'll carry you solo. You'll be able to watch everything that she's seeing live in a box on the screen. But I also want to bring in one of our amazing correspondents from Rav. She is out there covering. She just joined us recently. We're very excited to have her for the first time on this show, Bennie Harmony. Bennie, good to have you.
John, thank you for having me. It's great to finally connect, even if we're a little far apart.
How about that? It only took us a Halloween party to get connected. I'm excited. Great optics, right? Great optics. I love this. The president just came all the way back from Asia. He's had like a crazy 10-day run. He comes back, and the first thing he does is hand out candies and connect with real Americans. Tell us what's been going on there.
Yeah, no, it is a beautiful night out here, and we have all different departments, from the Department of Agriculture to the United States Post Office, are all set up in tents, and they are handing out candy as well. And you see Donald Trump behind us and Melania. And my first question to Lance over here was, did he even sleep? Did he even have enough time to rest before celebrating Halloween? He walked out to Thriller. Honestly, it couldn't be better, John.
Yeah, I can answer the question. I don't think he ever sleeps. I'm a guy who's got a call from him late at night. He always is working. He's got an engine unlike anyone I've ever seen in American politics. And so my guess is he didn't sleep, and he probably won't sleep even after this. But we'll see. There's a lot of optimism in the White House. It's been a good week. All the things that were rolled up on this trip, rare earth deals with China, meeting the new conservative prime minister in Japan, tens of billions of dollars of new investment announced in America. What's the mood inside the White House? What's the messaging you're hearing as you're hanging out there?
Honestly, John, everything feels great. Everyone is smiling, and it just feels like great energy. And I think, one of the things about Halloween is it gets very spooky. But what people don't understand is that it is a holy holiday in a way, with All Hallows Eve. And so it just feels like overwhelming Christianity and faith here. And it's incredible seeing all the staff members and Secret Service family members here trick-or-treating with their kids, as well as they're even having some foster kids here and kids that can be adopted. So it's really incredible, and I think the First Lady is doing a great job putting some initiatives into place for these families. But I will say, John, I don't think we're going to see any biting of children tonight like we did in the Biden administration.
Thank goodness for that. I can't get that image out of my head. You're right. Well, it's an amazing time, and the optics are amazing. You can see the decorating's amazing. That's all things that the First Lady has always put her touch on. Bennie, it's awesome to have you here at RAV. Awesome to have you at the White House. We'll try to come back to you as the event comes on, and we're going to get through a little news headlines and then come back to you.
Okay, John. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
All right. Fantastic. Yeah, another great reporter joining us here at Real America's Voice. How cool is that? Now, I want to get to our first guest in just a second. Before I do, I want to give you a little heads up. Tomorrow morning when you go to justthenews.com, you're going to see some new documents that we have obtained from the FBI. They are going to show you a new October surprise. No, not the one in October 2016 where they tried to spring out the Russia collusion story in Operation Crossfire Hurricane. No, October 2020. 4 years later, the same FBI under new leadership, Chris Wray, actually had an investigation suddenly opened on Donald Trump. And I'm not making this up. The investigation was about whether somebody who worked for the Trump campaign got their paycheck for the campaign and then went gambling. Now, I can't tell what the crime is. It's hard to tell from the memo what the crime is, but they were trying to open up an investigation on the Trump campaign in the final 2 weeks of the 2020 election, and they admitted that their evidence had, quote unquote, low confidence. They still were trying to open up on it. If this pattern doesn't get tired for you, I don't know what does, but the fact of the matter is we have to expose it every time. You're going to see these documents. You're going to see some commentary tomorrow from some FBI experts, but an important story. We'll break that in the morning, so be sure to check it out. Now, let's turn to our first guest. He's a good one. He's a retired U.S. Marine Corps Lieutenant General. He's a congressman for the great state of Michigan now. Jack Bergman. Congressman, good to have you on the show, sir.
Hey, John, great to be with you as always.
Happy Halloween a little early. I guess we get to celebrate it early because the White House does. I want to turn to something that I think is a little spooky, and that is for Democrats. They're starting to feel the wrath of the American people. This is one of the first times in the 35 years I've been here that a shutdown has boomeranged on Democrats. Tell us how you see it. How is it playing out with your constituents in the state of Michigan?
Well, when you think about the unnecessary nature of this shutdown, but it was self-imposed by the Democrats, especially the Senate Democrats, and they're not. I've heard people say, "Well, they're holding the government hostage." Actually, no. The Democrats with this shutdown are holding the American people hostage, and they're in trying to do what they have done historically, which is tell you one thing and do something else with more government spending. In this case, $1.5 trillion in new spending. Unnecessary spending, unwarranted spending, whatever you want to call it. The math doesn't work. And in the House a month ago, we passed a clean CR. Clean. No bad things attached to it, no poison pills that was going to give us 2 months, 60 days to negotiate for what we would do in the longer term funding of the government, to talk about getting healthcare subsidies to people who need them, not people who got them in the Biden era subsidies that if you're making $400,000 a year, you're getting a subsidy for health insurance. Those subsidies were meant for the people who need them. But this is the Democrats. Unfortunately, it's their only political maneuver, and I think they're playing chess in such a way that it really looks like checkers, and they've got themselves boxed into a corner. But the good news is they, if they decide, can vote, open the government up again, and we'll come back to work. And that's what we need to be doing. But they're basically, the American people are seeing through the Democrats. We see through it in D.C. every day because we live there, we work there. But the American people are seeing now that the Democrats are just using them as pawns in this game.
Yeah, it's shameful, and I think the American people are starting to wake up and get a little bit angry about it. You can start to see the polling numbers shift, and you can see the agita among Democrats, which makes me think that maybe they fold sometime soon. Now, I want to turn to an important issue because you obviously served our country for a long time. You rose to the rank of a general. You're now serving again in Congress. All the men and women who fight for us and for that freedom, they're here to protect us from foreign threats to that freedom. But we're seeing more examples of internal threats to freedom, the sort of things that were going on inside the FBI, where 400 Republicans are basically sprayed into an investigation to find anything they can. This Arctic Frost investigation, which got into the phone records of U.S. senators and House members, hundreds of Republicans, scores of Republican groups. It looks like a fishing expedition and the sort of intrusion our founding fathers were trying to prevent happening when they created the Constitution.
While it's been obvious to all of us, the Senate Judiciary Committee finally turned over the stone that showed just how politicized President Biden and his DOJ had become. This was a witch hunt, and the DOJ was targeting Biden's political enemies. The American people are truly rapidly and deservedly so losing trust in our government. And this is just one more instance of the government being used for evil by those in power at the time. I'm going to let the committees of jurisdiction, keep doing their work, but I got confidence that they're going to do the right thing and continue to uncover what's been hidden for the American people. President Trump was right when he said, they aren't after me, they're after you. I'm just in their way. Justice must be served so that the trust, as in God we trust, and wouldn't it be nice if we could say we trust the government going forward, but it takes honorable faithful people of integrity to do that. And we haven't had that in the DOJ for a while, or some of the other agencies that we're still uncovering a lot of things living, creeping beneath the stones. And it's probably pretty appropriate on Halloween to talk about creepy, crawly things. It just happens to be coming
That's
out
right.
of the shadows now because we're pushing them.
Yeah, and the victims here aren't goblins and ghosts. It's the American people and their civil liberties. It's just such a remarkable thing to watch. I never imagined I'd ever be writing stories like I'm writing today about what the FBI and the Justice Department did. It's stunning. I want to turn to the business that I know Congress is turning to once we get the government open. First thing, we got to get it open, get people their checks back. After that, it seems like a great opportunity because Americans have been without their government for 4 weeks, and I don't think a lot of them have missed a lot of it. It seems like there's an open door for Republicans to run the table and start to shrink government and also to fix an Obamacare program that's become, as you said, a $400 billion atrocity. Taxpayers sending money to insurance companies to artificially try to keep down premiums. Do you think the Congress is ready for that large a scale of work?
Well, I whether we're ready or not, I believe we have to be. It's just like a country that defends itself. You're never 100% ready, but you have to be mostly ready and rise to the occasion. And now it's rising to the occasion for us in Congress. But, just a few facts. 2010, the Democrats passed the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. 2014, ACA premium tax credits became available, meant to help families earning 100 to 140% of the federal poverty level. That was designed to help those folks. 2021, through the ARPA, Democrats temporarily extended and expanded those subsidies to everyone, regardless of income, for 1 year. 2022, the IRA, they extended the expansion again, but only through January 1st of 2026. So this termination, if you will, expiration is the Democrats doing, but these expansions weren't meant to be permanent. If the Democrats truly had meant them to last, they could have made them permanent on the front end. Now they're blaming us, the Republicans, for letting their own temporary extensions expire. But, the important point here is ACA subsidies don't go directly to patients. They go to insurance companies. I think insurance companies' profits right now are up something like 240+%. There's something morally wrong with that, not only just shamefully wrong, but morally wrong. And millions of these so-called ghost enrollees, people who are technically eligible but unaware of it, never use these the subsidies, meaning that the insurers pocket the difference. Money's there, not used, insurance companies get it. The claim that millions will lose coverage is false. The ACA itself remains law. What's expiring are the COVID era subsidies, higher income Americans who don't need the taxpayer help to pay for their insurance. They were not meant for those folks, and it's time to make those disappear.
So I want to ask about the promise, because it's pretty clear now that the things that Barack Obama sold to the American people to get Obamacare, the law passed, were not true. He said, keep your doctor. A lot of people lost their doctors. Premiums are going to go down. They went up. It won't cost taxpayers any money. We're shoving out hundreds of billions of dollars to subsidize it. Is this the debate that we're going to have with the American people, that education point, that what Barack Obama said and sounded great didn't turn out to be reality?
Well, it's going to be a reframed debate using specific examples. For example, rural healthcare. When we did the Working Families Tax Cuts Act here a few months ago, there was billions of dollars in it for rural and remote healthcare, especially those small hospitals. They are suffering the most now and would continue to suffer even worse if the Democrats get their way in how this is working, because they were going to take it out of the bill.
Right.
That will frame the debate, I believe, for that working American family around the country who deserves healthcare, needs the availability, needs the quality of it, and needs the accessibility of it. And without saying it, they need the affordability of it too. But the Democrats, again, have been playing a shell game with what they really mean by saying people are going to lose their health care, people are going to lose this, people are going to lose that. But what they don't say and I know I'm repeating myself now, is by all this, because the Democrats have set it up this way, the insurance companies make big profits.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's exactly it. This has been a subsidy for the insurance companies, not the American taxpayers or the American patient. It's really remarkable. Congressman Jack Bergman, it's a great honor to have you on the show. We thank you for your service to your country and your service in Congress. Good to have you on today.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, sir. Thank you so much. Folks, you're watching the Halloween celebration at the White House. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to go to the big data poll. Guess what? There is real elections next week, some exciting ones. Rich Barris from Big Data Poll will be with us next. Hey, America, let me bring you up to speed on a quiet but urgent issue. CBDCs, or central bank digital currencies, are being developed by 134 countries. These digital dollars will give governments the ability to track every transaction and limit how you use your own money. This includes setting expiration dates on your savings or locking your account without notice. American Alternative Assets is warning Americans now before it's too late. They published a free digital guide called the Digital Dollar Trap. It outlines the risks and shows how to use physical gold to protect your retirement savings. If you're concerned about privacy and control of your finances, this guide is for you. Here's how you get it. Call 1-855-465-3340 or visit johnlikesgold.com to get your free copy. That's 1-855-465-3340 or go to johnlikesgold.com. Get the facts, secure your future.